YouTube, man, what's going on with y'all, bro? It has been a while. Your boy's back with another video. I'm hoping that this is a more permanent setup. I've been trying to figure out how to get my workflow to be simplified, and so we could just rock. So yeah, first time shooting on a new setup, new mic. You know what I'm saying? We getting there, baby. I want to talk about today. If you're familiar with video games, right? There's a thing in video games, or character in video games, called NPCs, which are non-playable characters, right? And I've realized a lot of times in my life, I feel like an NPC. And I know you're probably like, what do you mean by that, Trav? Well, let me explain. You can be the type of person that you're always supporting people. You're always showing love, it's small stuff like you're always wishing happy birthday to folks. You just always looking out. You're just always there. You're always there for people. You're always holding it down. People call you, you're there to answer the call. You're the one checking in on people. But then, when your birthday comes around, or you had a big achievement, nobody's there. It's quiet. You know what I mean? And it's very frustrating to feel that way, to feel like a fly on the wall in everybody's life. I can honestly say a lot of times in my life, that's how I feel. I feel like a fly on the wall. You strive so much to accomplish things and, get to where you want to be in your life, and people just kind of dance around it, or when you bring it up, they switch the subject to something else, or they make it about somebody else, or they make it about themselves. Like if you're going through a hard time, or whatever the case is, it's just sometimes we just don't feel connected to anyone. You know what I mean? I feel like that a lot. I'll be honest, a lot of times in my life I do feel like I'm just kind of drifting through this world, not really making any noise. And sometimes that's okay. We got to get to a point where you realize that you didn't come to this world to please others. You didn't come to this world to get gratification from others, right? But at the same time, when your passion is things that, that are literally putting you as a person, or, your creative style, or whatever it is, it's actually putting that out to the world. As much as people say, oh yeah, like don't worry about the acceptance of others, but at the same time, you do want people to receive what you create. You want people to, give you feedback, or whatever it is. It's like you could feel good about something that you just created. You put it out, you get no love. You get no love. You get no feedback. It's quiet. It's almost like you didn't exist. And I guess my message for this video is, when you start to feel that way, because I feel like this is one of those things that you can't really fix it. There's nothing you could do, bro. There's some people that are just, it may feel like to you that the people that are getting the recognition, or, they're getting the love and all that stuff, you might think that you just, you're insignificant, or you're not important, or what you're doing, isn't quality or worth the recognition. I'm just here to tell you that it's not the case. A lot of times the case is, it's just the way the balance of this world works, I guess, bro. It's hard to explain. It's like you can put out, say if you're in the music, you could put out 2 amazing mixtapes. Your mixtapes are better than, half of the people that are in your class. But the person that has whatever it is above you, or, maybe it's they're charismatic, or maybe it's, they just have something else. It's always that additional step, or whatever it is, that makes them stand out more. That doesn't mean that what you did isn't quality. That's the hard part. And I think that's the thing that a lot of us need to you know, need to think about when your work or whatever it is isn't received the way you expected it to. It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's, not up to par. It just could be a thing where either you're not marketing it right, or it's just you have to work harder than others. And that's okay. It's okay to put in the extra work, especially if it's something that you really want. You know, I'll never forget. I feel like this is a good story to tell and a good analogy for this type of situation. So I remember there was back in the day, there was a girl that I took her out on a date, like maybe once or twice. I would say once, right? Took her out, and it was cool. We went to the movies. I think I'm trying to remember. We went to the movies, and I think we got something to eat or whatever, and cool conversation, whatever, and went about our way. You would talk here and there, and I'll never forget the one day. We haven't talked for at least like a week or two. And she would always be one of those people that would like text you and like send flirtatious type messages and stuff like that, right? So it was a lot of that back and forth in the span of like 2 weeks. And majority of the time it was like the flirtatious type stuff coming from her. So there was one day I'm sitting at the house, like, you can't make this up, bro. This is the type of stuff I had to deal with. Sitting at the crib, and I get it was a Facebook message. Phone goes off. I read the message, and it was like catching up, small talk type, right? And then out of nowhere, she was like, Travis, you're great. You're a great guy, but you don't have the it factor. I was like, what? Yeah, she was like, yeah, you just don't have the it factor. She was like the way I look at it, she was like, this is an example. This is literally what she told me. She said, you can be a red t-shirt. And she said, there could be a blue t-shirt. And she was like, you're just as good as the red, but the blue t-shirt has the it factor. So I'm sitting here, minding my business, catch a stray for no reason, random stray. I'm told I don't have the it factor. I literally replied and was like, I don't know what that means, but I said, if that's how you feel, okay. I still to this day don't really understand what the hell that means, but we'll rock. But that type of stuff right there, bro, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's the people look at you that way, and I feel like I appreciated that moment because it opened my outlook on life. Whether it be in relationships, friendships, if you're creating content or you're at work and you're trying to get a promotion, there is, I guess, this it factor or this, thing that some people have, some people don't. Like I can honestly say, I feel like a lot of my colleagues or a lot of the people that do photography, in this area, in my area, for me, it always feels like all of them have the it factor more than me, and I don't know if it's a thing where like now I feel that way because when she said that, it almost made me equate that to everything in my life at that moment. And sometimes I think I still carry that chip on my shoulder where it's like, yo, like, you did your thing, you rocked out, you've accomplished a lot, but at the same time, you don't have that it factor. I think about that quite often, and just in the back of my mind, it's still there. It's like I don't know what that means, but I see X, Y, and Z doing that. I see somebody doing that. Maybe I do lack it. Maybe there is something I just don't have, and maybe it's just maybe that's how life works. And I think I've gotten to a point in my life now where I'm just like willing to accept that and just rock out and just do what's best for me, because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. You got to do what's best for you. You got to do what you feel like doesn't affect your mental, or it's unhealthy for you. When you start to feel like that thing that you enjoy doing, or whatever it is, you start to feel like the you not receiving a certain type of love or whatever is starting to affect you, then you let it go and you find something else, bro. You rock out. You never stop. You gotta keep rocking out. You gotta keep finding that next thing. Keep growing. No matter what it is, you gotta keep growing. Like, I was having a conversation, and it's about people will try to minimize what you do, minimize who you are, just to make themselves feel better, or to big up the next person and, make them feel better. And sometimes, like I put it on my Instagram, we will minimize our light to please others and to make others feel better. And my outlook on that is enough. Stop doing it. There's literally no reason that you have to minimize or dim your light just to make somebody else feel better. You have to keep growing. You got to keep shining the way you've been shining, and then stun on them in their face. That's where I'm at with it. And when people want to keep throwing little shots at you, calling you names or whatever it is, bruh, rock out. Like Bernie Mac said, if they can't accept you for being who you are, F them. And that's what it is. And I said that in a previous video. People will judge you to the end of time. It doesn't matter what you do. You can try to be a people pleaser. You can try to be Mr. Nice Guy to everyone and just let people say whatever they want to you and let them rock. No more. Like, you got to put a dead to that. You know what I mean? It's this life is too chaotic as it is to bend who you are for other people. It's not right. If you're a person that you're humble and you're humble and you're bending yourself for others, no more, bro. There's a way to still live your life and, do the things that aren't the norm. And I feel like that's the problem. Like, a lot of times in this world, when people start doing things that aren't the norm, that's when people start to crap on who they are, start to talk bad about them, characterize them in a negative light because it's not a normal thing. It's something that you don't see often. So when you have, somebody call you a red t-shirt and compare you to another t-shirt that's just as good, but they have the it factor, tell them to go screw off somewhere and go, head off that cliff, because you don't care. Okay. Because at the end of the day, bro, I feel like everyone in some way has an it factor for someone or for something. And that's the thing right there. When we receive a message from people, we take that and internalize it and make that feel like it's our whole being. It's our whole life. That's not the case. Because a lot of times that person or thing that says you may lack an it factor or you may lack XYZ, that next situation that you enter or a situation that you've been completely ignoring because you've been focusing on that situation, that's going to be the one you were supposed to be in the first place. That was the one that you were supposed to, put all your time and effort into in the beginning. It's all about perspective, bro. It's all about learning and growing and figuring out what works and what doesn't. Once you get steady, once you get comfortable, when you get into that comfortable position, you start lacking and you start losing your vision. You start to get cloudy. So, that's just my message for this one, bro. It's going to be short because I have a passion for people being who they are and loving who they are and doing what's best for them. Being a better version of yourself every single day you wake up should be your goal. It should be my goal. And I can honestly say in the past couple of years, I lost sight of that big time. And I don't want you to. So from a word from Trav to you guys, I just want to say, man, be that red t-shirt. Screw the blue t-shirt, because you're someone's blue t-shirt, okay? You have that it factor for somebody. And at the end of the day, bro, On a serious note, you are loved and you are appreciated, and the world needs exactly what you bring to it. Okay. Whether you just bring yourself, you bring a talent, you bring something to a job, you bring something to somebody's life. And I know you do, because you're important and you deserve to be treated that way, you know, and you deserve to treat yourself that way. Because at the end of the day, if you don't treat yourself with love and respect and give yourself grace, you'll just fall, you know, you'll fall, man. And you can't let yourself fall. You got to do it for you before anything. You feel me? Do what's best for you. Do what's best for your family. I always say this every single video. You know, life is always about growing. Life is always about, you know, checks and balances, figuring out what works, what doesn't. You know, yeah, man, it's just all in due time. Don't let people's comments about you or people's perspectives or people's opinions affect how you feel or affect what you decide to do with your life or the goals you decide to pursue. Because at the end of the day, what you choose to do is only going to affect you at the end. Just think about that for a second. You listen to the words of others, change yourself to appease them, and then what are you left with? You're left with a fractured version of yourself. You're left with someone that has no self-love because you don't know what it means to love yourself, because you're constantly trying to please others. So, yeah, I'm going to rock out with that. Leave it pretty simple. Love yourself today. Give yourself, you know, just give yourself an embrace, bro. Say, I love me. It's okay to sometimes be a little bit, not arrogant, but no, you know what? Screw it. It's okay to be a little arrogant sometimes, bro. Speak highly of yourself, my nigga. You know, be blessed. I love you guys. Seriously, sincerely, I do. And, you know, I hope this video can encourage you to continue to live your life and continue to do what's best for you, because at the end of the day, that's what's important. So yeah, this is Trav. I love you guys, and I appreciate you all so much for watching this video, and I pray you guys have a good week. Peace out.